Hey, so I'm coming off about a week now of everybody down and out, including my baby who is still pretty congested. So it's making for enormous sleep deprivation on my part. And I've been sitting with that and sitting with this feeling of being threatened to be consumed by it, to really letting it smash me. And at the same time, I'm like, I know that this is the story I'm getting stuck into. I know that the more that I feel tired and tell myself I'm tired and want to escape the tiredness and want to break from the incessant demands on caregiving and running a house and cooking and staying on top of emails and bills and business, I really recognize that the more that that's my story, the more that that's what I'm feeling in my body, and the more that the feeling of sleep deprivation continues to stack and stack and stack until that's my reality. And so it got me thinking about the fact that there's a reason why sleep deprivation is used as a form of torture, and it's used to break down all of someone's defenses. And I think, what is the purpose of this in motherhood? Because like every human trait, like every single human emotion that we feel, it's there for meaning, it's there for purpose. If we didn't need to feel this way, if we didn't need to act certain ways that we act as humans, those things would become extinct. So what in motherhood is the purpose of our sleep deprivation? And I actually think that on some level, you know this, right? You know that when you've got nothing left, everything that's unnecessary in your world, in your life, in your psyche, in your body, it just whittles away, and what comes into sharp focus is what's most important for you. And also what comes into sharp focus is where you need to put boundaries in and where you need to ask for more of what you want. And that can even be unconscious, and I noticed this myself when we get stuck in this feminine descent that very often each stage of new motherhood brings, which is essentially that complete feeling of lacking of identity, of who am I right now. I've lost this sense of self, this concreteness of who I thought I was, and now I'm in free fall, and everything that I wanted to hold on to that would have kept me safe before is not now, because it's not fitting with who I am now, and I didn't even know who I am now. Like all of this stuff that happens, and this is the feminine also looking for a container from a strong masculine, and it's also us as the next evolution of ourselves, growing ourselves into who do we need to be a container for ourselves. Where is my masculine when I'm in this descent of nothingness and this feeling of overwhelm and this feeling of I need someone to come in and help me? How is that also asking me to help myself? How is that also asking me to scaffold around my day so that I can meet the things that are most important to me and delegate or let go of the things that aren't? So, if the washing pile is driving me crazy, is it really necessary for me to go through bit by bit, or can people just take what they need from the pile for a few days? And if they can't, then what's in the way for me for that? Why am I telling myself that that has to be done? Who am I perceiving that's judging me because I'm not getting the washing done? Being really aware of what our inner dialogue is like, and calling ourselves out on it. I do that a lot with my husband. I realized I was beating myself up for not getting through the washing, and then he's like, what? And then I realize I've just told myself a story that he's going to judge me on me not getting through all of this washing, when in fact it's not even his reality at all. Really getting into a pattern or a practice of self-checking. What's the story I'm running here? What am I getting stuck in? What is my stuff, and what is, for me to ask somebody else to be accountable for? Where do I need to shore up my resources so I can meet more of this? So for me and for Julie as well, we've got a really strong value on how we show up with our kids. And if I'm getting short-tempered, if I'm getting really feeling really tapped out and numb and unable to feel them emotionally, or even care where they're at, I know that I need to figure out steps for myself to get back in alignment. And so Julie's really big on pleasure practices. I am too, to a degree. I'm also really big on making sure that I've isolated in my day what needs to get done, and then how can I show up in a much more free way to those things. So for me this last week, it's been sometimes just when my kids want to play, like laying on the floor next to them, or when my baby needs a nap, instead of when she needs a feed, instead of sitting with her in a chair, I'm lying down feeding her, because that 10 minutes of me being horizontal and not having to hold my body in any way is deeply relaxing, and it means that I've then built the energy up again to go and spend it where I need to spend it with my older kids. It's that radical self-responsibility for what's showing up for me, that radical self-responsibility for what do I need in this moment, in this hour, in this day, to get through what's being asked of me when I don't have time for a nap, I don't have someone else who can come take my kids, I don't have capacity, willingness, money, resources to go and buy dinner. So what do I need in this moment to be able to show up for the next moment? And sometimes that's what we need, is just that opportunity to ask ourselves these questions, as opposed to getting stuck in the whirlwind of overwhelm. And I know that there are so many mamas who are in the sleep deprivation camp and are doing what they can to get through it. And I think it's just being aware, yes, it's brutal, yes, it's painful, yes, we want sleep, but we also need to look at how much we're allowing that to overwhelm our reality and colour the way that we're seeing everything. Because the more that we're convincing ourselves that we're feeling something, or convincing ourselves that that's our reality, the more we're meeting that, the more we're looking for evidence of that, the more that we're seeing that. And so if that's also where you're at, I invite you to go, okay, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and sleep deprived and tired. Where is my vitality? What am I able to get inspired by right now? What can I do to move my body in a way that feels good? Because maybe right now you can't even feel your body, right? Like it just feels heavy or lethargic or ugh. What can I do right now to inject some fun when I really don't feel like doing fun? I just feel like getting through it. Change it up. Find a different way to approach your situation that you're continually finding yourself in, so that you can get some freedom from the clutches of the sleep deprivation. Because I'm in the thick of it, and I wondered if you might be too, and I'm working with different ways to meet it, because I really don't want to compromise my parenting or my relationship, or even to a degree the standard of my home, because I'm feeling tired. So it's about how do I find a constructive way through this, so that I feel good and so does everybody else. So that's my thoughts for today. See ya.